The entire country, of course, has been watching the situation over at Jagersfontein off the back of that dam wall burst on Sunday. One person losing their lives, 4 people still missing, hundreds of homes have been destroyed, and of course those families displaced as well. eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu there for us once again following what is happening. Hello again to you, Manqoba, and we heard from the Department of Water and Sanitation just a little while ago. They say plans for clean drinking water and sanitation are underway, but of course cleanup operations are still a big issue. How are we looking this morning?
Well, indeed, Gareth, I can tell you that mop-up operations are still continuing in Jagersfontein, of course, following that devastating floods. Yesterday, we saw community members really, trying to salvage the little that's left, going back to their houses. Many of them had been going back for the first time just to see for themselves, the extent of the damage and devastation that had occurred there on Sunday. And I think it was quite emotional scenes for many of those community members. Some of them who went back to their homes to find them that they had been completely washed away, they had vanished. And I'm reminded of this family that went to their house yesterday only to find that a toilet was remaining, Gareth, or was left in that area. The whole house had been washed away. I also saw quite a number of families that went to their houses to find a trail of destruction, to find that all of their property inside the house had been destroyed. There is one family that was managed to salvage some plates. They also managed to salvage just a few items of clothing. This just tells you how badly affected some of the families were. We saw over 10 houses in that area alone. That is the area of Itumeleng that have been destroyed, many of them partially destroyed. So it just gives you the impact of this particular flood and what it has done to the residents of Jagersfontein. We also saw some farmers who said that their livestock had also been washed away. Some of their animals had drowned, and you recall, of course, that the SPCA was also on the ground just trying to assist those who had lost their livestock. They managed to salvage or to get about 500 animals that they were able to take out. Those animals, some of them had to be put down because they had swallowed the sludge from that flooding. So it is quite still a dire situation there. Residents are trying to pick up the pieces, but I can tell you, Gareth, that it certainly won't be easy because the extent of the damage is huge in that particular area.
It really is, and we saw the president, we also saw the minister, Mantashe, out in the area a few days ago as well, saying they're going to do everything they can to support the residents. But it's now 4 days later, if you don't include Sunday itself. What does the support for the residents look like? Are they expected to come back to their homes anytime soon? Have you seen any of them going near their houses, or are they all still being looked after in other areas around Bloemfontein?
Well, Gareth, the closest we saw some of the residents, going to their homes was those people that had gone there just to see the situation, just to assess the damage that had been done. But we know that, of course, over 300 people have been affected. They have been displaced. They have nowhere to go. And they have been sheltered at various places in the Free State, most of them here in Bloemfontein. And I can tell you, Gareth, that according to what we are hearing from officials, those people will not be able to go back to their homes anytime soon. Of course, government has committed that they are going to be helping as far as rebuilding some of those homes are concerned. We also saw some private business, people that were there in the area also promising that they're also going to assist as far as that is concerned. But one of the things that President Cyril Ramaphosa had highlighted is the fact that they will make sure that they start with the livelihoods that have been affected. They'll start with the process of rebuilding. They'll start with the process of ensuring that water is restored, electricity is restored. I think those same sentiments were echoed by the Minister of Mineral Resources, Mantashe, who said the focus now is to try and ensure that they rebuild the town and that they, eventually clear the sludge that is in the area. Of course, we know that there's still going to be quite a number of investigations that are going to take place. One of them to assess exactly the sludge itself, and whether it is toxic and safe for people to actually start removing removing it from their homes. But I can tell you, Gareth, that on the ground, the situation is quite still dire. We saw families going into their houses, and the sludge is still as high as the knee for many of those people who went to their houses. So I can tell you, Gareth, that it's still going to take a long time for all of this to be completed. And so in the meantime, those families are still going to face the reality that, you know, their livelihoods have been destroyed in all of this.
It really has devastating for the entire community, the environment as well. It's terrible to hear animals having to be put down and having been washed away as well for the agricultural sector and the farming sector in that area. Manqoba Mchunu, thank you very much indeed. We'll come back to you again a little bit later. He will stay on the ground.